Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Why, hello everyone. I am Katie Pedrick, joined by that man over there. It is the start of the week for us.
Happy Monday.
It is Monday, and it is the launch of our very first Educated Live show. Welcome to everyone out there. Just so you know, we're going to welcome everyone who's on Facebook and Rumble right now. We want to encourage you to post your questions and your comments in the little chitty chat out there, and we are going to be doing our darndest over here to keep checking in with you throughout the broadcast. And of course, I'm going to give a first little shout out here to our friend Adrian on Facebook for being the first one to post, and then David, you followed shortly in second. So thank you already. Now, of course, if you are watching us not live, you can still comment, but we won't be able to answer it, so sorry about that. Now, before we kick things off, as always, David.
Yes.
Who are you talking to this week on Worldview Matters?
Well, start with today, on Monday. Monday, John Haller. Yeah, we did a part one with John Haller last Friday. And so today is part two on Israel and how some speculate that World War III is upon us. So that's with John Haller. He's an expert on Israel, and it was a great conversation both Friday and today. I encourage you guys to sign up at worldviewmatters.tv and subscribe, please, worldviewmatters.tv. And I just want to tease the rest of the week quickly. Actually, you know what? I don't want to take too much time to do that because we got to get back to the stories. Ooh. But I want to say hi to some friends. Hi to Kim and Elaine and David, and I'm looking at the Rumble to see who's with us live on Rumble, and I'm not sure if mine updated yet, but This is fun. So thanks for watching, guys.
All right, well, let's get to the stories.
Yes.
And please engage with us. We have dozens of student groups at Harvard who signed a joint statement blaming Israel.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to reiterate this. Dozens of student groups at Harvard signed a joint statement blaming Israel for the horrific violence committed against them. And now we have CEOs who are demanding the names of all who signed. So that part's a little cherry on top to what I am calling one of the dumbest things that has been said of late.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation, and unfortunately, friends, we see after the protests, the pro-Palestinian protests in American cities, there's a lot of ignorance as far as Israel and the land and the Middle East. There's a lot of anti-Semitism, and it is growing. So we're going to talk about that. It's an important topic, but let's go to Harvard. Who talk about a decline over the years. There's the headline, deeply sick. Over 30 Harvard University groups blame Israel for the Hamas attacks on October 7. So there was a joint statement that was put out from dozens of groups where Harvard University students blamed Israel for being attacked, right? For the violence and atrocities committed by Hamas, by Hezbollah, by anyone who is anti-Israel. And Hamas committed war crimes, Katie.
Yes.
They entered, I think out of the 1,300 plus that have died, I think about 286, if the numbers change every day.
Yeah, the numbers are
286 soldiers, military. So in other words, most of them were women and children,
babies,
and some men that were civilians. That's part of this attack. That is inhumane. That is a war crime. And Harvard and the universities here in America, they're not as focused on that. So this is really offensive what they're saying. We do have a video here, a couple of videos we want to show you. We're going to extend this first segment a little bit, but we'll come back and talk about it, and we'll try to keep up with you guys who are watching live. But check out this video. We'll come right back.
What was supposed to be a solidarity vigil for the lives lost in the horrific Hamas terrorist attack and solidarity for Palestine is now just a candlelit sign saying it's postponed because of safety concerns. It's the latest example of rising tensions at Harvard. The canceled vigil comes as Harvard is facing international backlash for not condemning 33 student groups who blamed Israel for all the unfolding violence.
I think the university's response was quite late, given that it had been a few days.
Some students, like Elizabeth, questioned why the university leadership stayed silent for days before finally responding to the outrage. Elizabeth's boyfriend lives in Israel.
I'm always on the side that's against unnecessary human suffering. And for me, I just see a lot of unnecessary violence, especially that concerns the civilians in the middle.
This is outright terrorism, and terrorism is never justified.
Some prominent Harvard alumni, like Congressman Seth Moulton, denounced the pro-Palestinian statement from student groups and the delayed response.
We can have a healthy intellectual debate that holds up Palestinian rights while also criticizing the barbarous acts of terrorism by Hamas.
At first, Harvard's president sent out a statement condemning the terrorist atrocities, but did not directly address the student group's message. In a second statement, the president was more direct, saying in part that while our students have the right to speak for themselves, no student group, not even 30 student groups, speaks for Harvard University or its leadership.
Okay, let's be clear. Harvard is not alone in this ideology, this poisonous ideology on the university campuses. Harvard is not alone. I want to go over to Rumble real quick because we're doing this show live. I want to say hey back to Jennifer, Joshua, Kalinda, and Nathan in California. Also Sharon from Michigan. Thanks for following us on Rumble. Katie, who do you have on Facebook there?
Well, I have Elaine and Kim, and David even made a comment. Hey,
I
did.
And
Robert. Hey everyone, how's it going? Now we're going to talk about this in depth here. So let's speak specifically to the groups, because you said dozens before. Yes,
oh my
dozens
goodness,
of
look
groups.
at that.
My first reaction, without even reading the names of these groups, is why are there so many groups at Harvard? Just in general. And then you start reading the names of them, and they are so specific. Like, why are there this many groups of these individuals becoming a group?
I can partly answer that, but go ahead. Let's
all right,
mention
you have
some of these.
Harvard College Pakistan Student Association, Harvard Divinity School Muslim Association, Harvard Middle Eastern and North African Law Student Association, the Islamic Society, the Law School Justice for Palestine, a lot of Palestine, Muslim Caucus, Muslim Women's Caucus, the Palestine Caucus, the South Asia Caucus, the Muslim Law School Association, the Pakistan Forum. You get the drift.
Harvard Undergrad, Middle East Caucus, and it goes on and on. First of all, I think we have a picture from Harvard. One of the stories had a picture. I don't remember what was it. Campus reform? No, it was one of the stories where you see the Harvard University front with the flag and the emblem that says Veritas. There it is. I'm answering Katie's question. Do you see what Harvard's logo is? And this is another story. Now they're backtracking. Some of them that supported what Hamas did. So the logo for Harvard there, it says Veritas. Quick history lesson. In the 1600s, their original logo, the shield, said three things: truth, for Christ, and the church, right? The original Harvard University put out pastors and theologians because they were training in the Bible, in theology, in the earliest days of Harvard and a lot of the Ivy League schools. So truth, for Christ, and the church at Harvard. Within 150 years, around 36 or something like that, they removed, Harvard did, Christ and the church. So if you remove Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life, no one comes to the Father but through Jesus, you remove and the church, all you're left with Veritas. That's the only thing left on the Harvard logo today. In the university system, and not just Harvard, whose, quote, Veritas are they spewing? Are they teaching? It certainly isn't biblical truth, the biblical worldview, and that's why they can come to these anti-Israel, anti-Semitic conclusions and ideologies, because they removed truth. How many, 200 years ago, what was that, 1836? Yeah, less than 230, about 175 years ago, they removed Christ and the church. So whose truth are they teaching? And that's just at Harvard. So I want to thank you guys for watching live. Kate, I just wanted to share that because I find that always to be fascinating when we look at the decline of Harvard and, quote, education. It's really sad.
Yeah, and David, I think you are now, I would presume, to be the best faculty member that Harvard has by the truth you just spoke. So maybe you should leave here now, fly out there, and go teach some truth.
I wonder how many of them know that history, though, that they were taught. They based their class, their education on John 17:3, on knowing Christ and making him known. That was the foundation for all learning. That's out of Harvard University's rules and precepts from whatever year that was that they were founded.
Now, do you want to be known as Professor David or Professor Fiorazzo or Prof.
You can call me Dr. Dave.
Dr. Dave?
Dr. David.
Dr. David, here we from your days on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
All right, that's another story for another day. Back to this. The response that these college groups, these Harvard groups, received was quite interesting. The best, obviously, is from one Victor Davis Hanson. And if you know who Victor Davis Hanson is.
Yes, great response.
Yes, great response, great man. He says, here we are, 78 years after the end of the Holocaust, and once again, thuggish killers dressed in black are pulling Jewish elderly, women, and children out of their homes and executing them, and then throwing their bodies into the street. But in 1945, we were fighting the SS murderers. Now we are sending millions in subsidies to their modern Hamas killer squad counterparts. We, the American people, should demand not one more American cent to these Gestapo and SS killers. And yet Harvard is over there being like, well, it's all Israel's fault. It's not Hamas. How dare you say it was Hamas who did anything wrong?
First of all, I love Victor Davis Hanson. Talk about a man that's filled with wisdom and grace. I can't be as patient sometimes in how he responds, but a lot of grace. I do want to mention Lorna is watching on Facebook Live from Canada, and she said, this is my first time seeing you guys live. Well, Lorna, this is the first time we've done a live program of Educated.
Well, Lorna, you are 1 for 1.
Yeah, we'll see what happens after
for
today.
1, Lorna. 1 for 1. All right. Well, now it's kind of interesting that some of these groups, it's a good thing that at least some of these groups have decided to backtrack and be like, oh, we didn't mean to sign on to that. And some of the students actually who had positions on the board of these student groups have resigned because they're like, no, that's not right at all.
Good.
So that's something good. That's something good, at least happening. But yet there are others that it took them how long to say anything?
I don't
Still
know.
nothing,
We need to mention the banners over at Stanford real quick. Really
let's go
quick.
to Stanford because that's just as low quality as
on the other coast.
On
roughly,
the other coast, yeah.
Not quite. But anyway, Stanford refuses to condemn pro-Hamas banners. And I guess their problem, guys, at Stanford was not what was on the banners, but where they were located. In other words, let's find a different place that's more suitable that you can have these viewpoints expressed. A ridiculous response, not surprising, from Stanford.
Yeah, so it was actually someone named Max Meyer who showed these banners, and it was made out of bed sheets. And these banners were flown from buildings around campus, including the Center for Engineering Management. And you can kind of read it in the pictures, but it says, the Israeli occupation is nothing but an illusion of dust. One says, Handoah is returning by any means necessary, and the illusion of Israel is burning. And then there was a Palestinian flag there. And so Stanford acknowledged in a statement, of course, official statement clarifying, they would not take a stand against the content or the viewpoint expressed as you talked. And they were just, looking to move it around. And so it's kind of fascinating the way Max Meyer tweeted. He says he's a student. And he says, I was nearly expelled from Stanford for not getting a booster vaccine because he was deemed a threat to the community.
Yep.
He says, I'm really curious. What's the university policy towards students that paint bedsheets red with incitements to genocide against Israeli Jews?
Really?
Now, just as a quick little note here, if we're going to talk about Stanford, because another story in the news that's going on is talking about the very pro-Hamas Stanford lecturer who allegedly, and by allegedly, I mean this is what happened, he literally, I guess, rounded up the Jews in the class and he put them in a corner. This same professor named Amir Hassan Loggins was the one you can give credit to for radicalizing Colin Kaepernick, if we want to go down that road of that. Once upon a time, a quarterback, now just a perpetual crybaby and waste of
Yeah, you got
time.
a lot of mileage
Yeah.
from the Black Lives Matter
Yes,
Global
he did.
Network Foundation, driven by Marxists and anti-American activists. And Colin really did a good job, though, of coming against the national anthem in America and leading the country in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
there.
so-
Sports
Yeah.
leagues.
So very quickly, this professor asked Jewish and Israeli students to identify themselves. This is after this attack that happened on October 7th. And he told the Jewish students to take their belongings, stand in a corner, and then he said, this is what Israel does to the Palestinians.
Oh, my goodness.
He then reportedly asked students, how many people died in the Holocaust? And everyone answered 6 million. And he said, colonizers killed more than 6 million. Israel is a colonizer. The positive of this whole end of this story is that Stanford did reportedly remove him from the civil, liberal, and global education class. So there's that.
Okay.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, guys, we are moving fast today. This is our live program, Educated. But I got to mention Hunter College. There's a quick video on pro-Palestinians that we've got to squeeze this in. Go ahead and play that one.
Why are you here today?
Free Palestine.
I stand with the Palestinian people unequivocally.
I support decolonization and liberation of Palestinian people and the end of a mass genocide in the Gaza Strip.
You're talking about the genocide of the kids being beheaded?
That's false. That is actually false.
When you see the kids that have been beheaded and the women that are raped, how do you feel about that?
I don't know where to start from that.
Israel is notorious for creating propaganda that sides their one-sided massacre against Palestinians.
That was already proven that didn't really happen. There was not verified.
Women did not get raped.
No. I've not seen any proof of that. If it did happen, I haven't seen it.
Like, they get attacked for no reason.
The children got attacked for no reason? The kids that were beheaded?
Beheaded? Yeah, apparently. Like, that's...
But they were Jewish kids.
Wait, Jewish kids?
The U.S. military money that goes there, $4 billion a year, should stop going to Israel to support their war crimes.
Oh, gosh. So, like I said before, so much ignorance and misinformation that has turned into anti-Semitism. Katie, we've got to move on already, but thanks for joining us for our first live show on Educated. Still to come, the parents of a 9-year-old boy in Florida are suing the school and police, by the way, after their child was handcuffed for throwing a violent fit. For all of you watching live, we definitely want to get your take on this story. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Well, all right. Welcome back. I will get to this story in just a moment, but I just want to say a good quick hello to Mary Lou, to Eli, who battled for 17 minutes and against the chains of Facebook to get in. So thank you for
thanks, Eli.
For getting
Welcome
through that. And Lorna is talking about how all of this craziness is happening in Canada too. And Lorna, we're sorry you have to live in Canada at this moment.
What happens in Canada doesn't stay in Canada. Emperor Trudeau. We've got anyway.
All right. Well, let's get to this story and we'll get your opinions. Make sure you're letting us know what you think about this one, because back here in the United States, we have parents of a 9-year-old in Florida who have filed a lawsuit after an incident that occurred back in February 2nd. I remember reporting on this, when police handcuffed the boy. Now, the parents are claiming unnecessary and unreasonable force was used at Stenstrom Elementary School in Oviedo, Florida. Now, officers went to the school because the boy allegedly began hurling items at the school staff. Okay, so you can imagine 9-year-old throwing some things, okay? Recently released police body cam footage now. So now we got the goods.
All right, let's see this.
Showed the boy screaming and throwing objects in a mailroom. Let's take a look at what happened.
So you come down. This is where we're at. He can do that because he's on the road. Just calm me down for a second.
Chill. Stop it.
Just relax. Just restrain things.
Stop it. Sit up.
Oviedo police body cam captures the Stenstrom Elementary 4th grader having a massive tantrum in the school mailroom. You can see the child throwing things and screaming. Staffers tried to protect themselves with padded mats
Stand up for me, bud.
before the officers put on the cuffs.
You need to hear it. It's okay, I get that a lot.
The family lawyer's complaint states that the boy has a special instructional plan from the school district, which includes, quote, a behavior problem, which the behavior intervention plan defined as hitting, kicking, pushing, throwing items, and property destruction. The BIP further directed that school personnel, when confronted with a student's physical aggression, should not engage in any conversation other than having him complete the task and to otherwise limit the level of attention directed to him. Former Orlando Police Chief Orlando Rolone said it's a sad situation.
But ultimately, what every law enforcement officer wishes is that the situation is de-escalated before they even get involved. But in this situation, obviously, there was a lot going on.
The family is suing the city and the school resource officers for more than $75,000. They claim the officers violated their SRO agreement by placing a child under 6th grade in handcuffs.
Wow. First of all, those big padded things that teachers have to have now.
The fact that they have to have them is
I mean, he was throwing a tantrum. What do you think about the handcuffing?
I keep going back and forth on this one. This is a tough call for me as a mom or for me as an educator and just for me as a human. Like, he was clearly in a meltdown mode beyond being able to rationalize anything with him. The way I think the officers approached it was everything they could do, being like, hey, you need to calm down. We're going to just put you in these cuffs. That'll help calm you down. Like, they were trying to do everything they could without having to take it to that level. It's not like they threw the kid up against a wall and was like, we're putting these handcuffs on you. The reaction that he gave back, or the response he gave of expletives, makes me think maybe he does need to be in cuffs for a moment until he is able to calm himself down, because he's putting others in danger. It's not like he's just mouthing off. Yeah. He physically is harming others.
And then you can start destroying property and
in the mailroom, you could see all that paper and everything. This is a tough call.
Yeah, I come from a family of educators. My mom, she was a grade school teacher. My dad, a high school guidance counselor, but before that he taught English. Then my sisters, a cousin, an uncle, all in the education system. And it has changed radically since the 60s, 70s, when you could, at that time as a teacher, you could actually discipline, meaning if you needed to give them a swat on the butt, you could do that. In the old school, we got a ruler over the hand, but you can't do that anymore as teachers. So if they're not disciplined at home and if they're not in control at home, you bring them to school and some kids are going to lash out. They do it at home. And so it is a tough situation.
And the question I went to immediately, and Lorna is saying she's kind of having, I think, the same question as parents. Where's the discipline at home? Or how is it that this has been happening? And why is that behavior intervention plan that they have basically saying that if he's hitting, kicking, pushing, throwing items, property destruction, like that's the issues that he has. We know he has these issues. Why are they just supposed to not engage and just let him do his thing? Like, why? How is that a plan?
Lorna makes a good point. She says a child not raised with a father involved, this is what happens. By the way, she's from Canada. My wife is from Toronto, so shout out to you there, Lorna. Shout out to our friends watching on Rumble as well on our live show. So these are those stories that you kind of go, wow, do we have all the details? And now what do you think? Because some of them you can either go,
but this, I mean,
see both sides.
This is the, like, we want to pinpoint exact issues, like case in point type examples for what's happening on the broader society. We have this happening across the whole nation, across the world, really, in terms of discipline with children in school and the fact that there needs to be potentially this much discipline in school. And how do we handle that as a society?
All right, let's get to the B.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the FreedomProject Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
All right, we've got the latest Babylon Bee headlines, and we'll let me just do this right now. Let's get to the stories here. There they are. We've got to take a look at the famous satire site, the Babylon Bee, and see which one will be crowned Queen of the Hive. Go.
Here are this week's top 5 Babylon Bee headlines.
All right, we picked our favorite. Let's start with this one. Harvard student leaves lecture on microaggressions to attend Kill the Jews rally. Next. And by the way, if you're watching live, we want to hear your thoughts on these. What one is the best, in your opinion? Next, Islam downgraded to religion of mostly peace. That next, White House claims $6 billion to Iran, absolutely not related to the exactly $6 billion worth of rockets being fired into Israel. Next, Palestinian flag outside Rashida Tlaib's office seen throwing pride flag off the roof. And finally, GoFundMe to send the squad to Gaza raises $5 million. Katie, oh my goodness, you had a couple LOLs on that one. There's some really good ones here.
Okay, I want everyone. We're gonna give you some time.
Yeah, tell us on
Rumble. Tell us on Facebook your favorites.
What's your favorite Babylon Bee headline?
Wow. Okay, here's the thing. Anytime you get the squad involved, and if you don't know who the squad is, then have you been paying attention to reality politics? The squad includes Rashida Tlaib and, of course, the
Send him to Gaza.
And only Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That's funny. That's just funny.
And, Ilhan Omar as well. But the sending the squad for the $5 million, but that goes with the Ilhan Omar and the throwing the flag, the pride flag off the top of the roof, off the roof, because, the Palestinian flag of Rashida Tlaib's office, it could have been Ilhan Omar, it could have been any of them, the squad members.
The satire there it is based on truth.
It is based on truth, absolutely.
In some countries, they will throw homosexuals off of the roof to kill them. And so that's the play on the pride flag being thrown off by the Palestinian flag.
Yeah. Okay. What are you thinking today, David? What are you going with?
Gosh, it comes down to two. Number one, I like the Harvard student leaves a lecture on microaggressions to attend the Kill the Jews rally.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
I think and then the $6 billion from the Biden administration. But I've got to go with number two. Islam downgraded to a religion of mostly peace. Because you know how, again, the misinformation, the propaganda campaign, Islam is a religion of peace. No, it's not. But anyway, that was really funny. I thought that was...
I think it would have been interesting if they would have done that or put something with like Reddit comments or something just to like add to the whole part about being downgraded. Now, that's what I would have done.
All right.
What's happening over on Rumble right now?
And I think there's I
got a lot of comments.
Go ahead.
Going back
with the Facebook
not to Babylon Bee stuff. Actually, you guys are actually talking about raising the kids and the discipline, and that's
good.
These are all the things that
you
we
can talk amongst
about.
yourselves. You're allowed to talk amongst yourselves.
Absolutely.
On Educated Live,
but
on Facebook Live.
With that being said, we're going to stop talking because we have to wrap up not only the top headlines of the week, but also the show. So we are going to wrap up what we are calling the inaugural Educated Live. What do you all think about this format? Our goal is to continue going live with Educated every single Monday here, so we can meet for lunch at 12 p.m. Central Time. If you're not following us on Rumble, then hey, now is the time. Get on over there. Simply visit rumble.com/FreedomProject and give the channel a little follow. Now for David and myself, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting and giving us little heart symbols. That's always nice too. Thank you for supporting everything that we do around here. Until next time, stay educated.